Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We start our briefing on the situation that we have over the last 24 hours. On the 17th of July, the civil airplane flight of Malaysian Airlines was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur at the height of 10,100 meters. Approximately at 4:20 p.m., the plane vanished from the screens of radars of Dnipropetrovsk center, and then there was a signal from emergency signal device, and the plane crashed 3 kilometers to the northeast of Hrabove Donetsk region. At 5:40 p.m. the fire was extinguished. 298 people were on board the plane. At that moment, Ukrainian fighter jets did not fly in the Ukrainian space, and the Boeing was outside the zone of possible destruction by the anti-aircraft forces of Ukraine. I emphasize that the anti-terrorist operation forces did not perform any actions on targeting the air targets at that time. We have checked all the missiles of the Ukrainian armed forces. They are intact. And the Ukrainian heavy aircraft do not work at this height. The President of Ukraine has expressed his deep condolences to families of all those who died on board the plane, and he emphasized that those who are guilty of this tragedy will be found and punished. The Ukrainian government has set up a special commission to investigate this tragedy in order to provide for the maximum objectivity of the investigation. At the initiative of Ukraine's president, the experts from International Civil Aviation Organization and representatives of the Netherlands, USA, and Malaysia are invited to take part in this investigation. The Security Council of the United Nations will hold its session today at the initiative of Great Britain, and the Ukrainian delegation will take part, and there is a planned speech by the permanent representative of Ukraine at the UN. The Boeing is the third case after 2 Ukrainian planes were shot over the territory of Donetsk region. On the 16th of July at 4:55 p.m., Ukrainian intelligence has spotted the use of Russian fighter jets in the vicinity of Amvrosiivka, in particular on the territory of Russia, in the Rostov region. MiG-29 was flying, and our intelligence monitored it, and it is established that this was the Russian fighter jet. From 6:48 to 7:49 p.m., a Russian military point with signal code Rapira was instructing the Russian pilot to destroy a target on the territory of Ukraine. It is known that a pilot of the Russian armed forces during the flight in the direction of Ukrainian border and between Rostov-on-Don and Donetsk, over 5 to 7 minutes, was targeted to a plane of armed forces of Ukraine with the aim of destroying this Ukrainian plane, and this was performed at the height of 8,850 meters, and the missile arms of MiG-29 was used at the height of 820-250 meters. The distance was 35 to 35 to 40 kilometers, and the pilot of MiG-29 got the instruction to use only air-to-air missiles with infrared system of targeting, and this object is not being defined by the Ukrainian monitoring system and by the satellite system on investigation and monitoring after it is launched. Another peculiarity of missiles R-27 is that they are being produced in Ukraine, and they are labeled as Ukrainian produced, and if their fragments are found, then it is impossible to define them as Russian armament. It is known that during the air fight, the Russian plane was targeting Ukrainian plane 3 times, and once it hit the Ukrainian plane, because of the class of Ukrainian pilot and because of his maneuvers, there was no direct hit, and the missile hit only one of the engines, and the Ukrainian pilot made emergency engine, and we think that the unsatisfactory class of Russian pilot was one of the hindrances to hit the Ukrainian plane directly. MiG-29 landed on one of the airfields in Rostov region. We also have the proof of how the talk with the Russian pilot. Rapira 221, 850 meters, 8,850 meters. These are the fragments of conversation between the Russian targeting point and the pilot of the Russian plane. (221) 340 degrees. 221, it tries to maneuver. 221, take course 130. The target is maneuvering. The target is in the sights. I get you. The course is 60. 221, the course 150. 221, the course 260. Is the regime economical? Yes, economical. 885. Exercise. Turn to the left. 850. 8,300. Act more vigorously. I understood. I'm exercising 290 to the left. 221 at the course 290, 8,850. I get you. 880, 8,800, 8,800. The target is in sights. 221. I confirm it is in sights. In sights 221. I confirm. I confirm the target is in sights. I confirm 221. I confirm it tries to maneuver. 35. The target is in sights. It does maneuver. I got you. Left 180 degrees to the left. 850. 221 on the course 150. 8,850. Is it 8,250 or 8,850? It is going lower. On the course 150, 8,250. I got you. To the left, 330, 8,250. I replied, what one? 221. I understand you. I'm doing 221 to the left. Again, the course is 150, 8,250. At the course 310, 8,250. The target is in sights, 221. I confirm again, it is maneuvering. The target is in sights. 8,200. How much lower? 8,200. Give me a prompt about the target. I didn't hear you well. I'm doing maneuvering to the right. The height is 8,250. I got you. 221. The course is 150. 8,250. I understand. I keep to this course. 221. 320. I did get you. I got you to the right, 8,250, the regime, the economy mode. I got you, economy mode. 221, the course is 330, 8,250, 8,200. It's too far from you. You won't catch up with it. I understood you. I'm going to the right to 330 degrees. The course is 338, 8,250. I'm doing this to the right, 160. Again, the course is 150. I got you. I'm doing 330 to the right. 221. It's 2,750. The course is 338. The course is 330, 8,250. Keep to it. I'm doing to 330 to the 150 to the left. I'm doing it to the left. Two to one. The remnant is 2,400. 2 to 1. The remnant is 2,200. 2 to 1. There's 1,900 left. 1,950 left. 2 to 1. Reply to us. 1,800. 1,500 left. 2 to 1. I understood you. Thank you. So you had the possibility to hear what is going on in there during the air fight, and Russian pilots and aircraft have not have undervalued the high class of the Ukrainian pilot, and the Russian aviation is continuing with monitoring the situation along the Ukrainian border. Yesterday at 11:40, our bodyguards saw the flight of 8 Russian helicopters along our border across the village of Andriy. Tonight at 3:55, we also saw the flight of a drone in the direction of Novozovsk. In the zone of the conflict, during the last 24 hours, the anti-terrorist operation forces have moved 10 to 15 kilometers to the depth of the territory controlled by the terrorists, and our Ukrainian forces have surrounded the territory controlled by the terrorists. However, there is no opportunity to control fully the state border, and the Ukrainian military are now conducting the engineering works in order to keep to the ground. During the last 24 hours, illegal armed formations fired at Ukrainian positions and road checkpoints 19 times. Donetsk, Roskishne, Muratove, Rozivka, Avdiivka, and other settlements and towns. Also, Luhansk airport was fired at. Ukrainian military did not retreat from their positions, not for a single step, and they are continuing to heroically perform their duty to liberate the Ukrainian soil from Russian mercenaries. Yesterday, in some places, terrorists have fired at Russian territory, and in response, Russian forces fired at anti-terrorist operation forces in the vicinity of the state border, and 2 artillery shells exploded during the checkpoint Martinivka at 6:20 p.m. They fired at the ferry by 2 mine throwers from Russia. We also have information that they are recruiting volunteers to take part in combat actions in the east of Ukraine through the internet in Moscow and other recruiting centers in other cities of Russia. They first of all seek people who have combat experience and who have ultra-nationalistic views. We also have information that representatives of so-called Donetsk People's Republic, with the threat of shooting peaceful population, are drafting men from 18 to 60 years in to take part in terrorist activity. Also in Luhansk region, on the territory which is controlled by the terrorists, there's the destruction of infrastructure, including water pipelines and gas pipelines. 39 towns and settlements are without water or gas in Luhansk region as a result of combat actions. Over the last 24 hours, 2 Ukrainian military servicemen were killed and 1 National Guard serviceman. 25 people got wounded. Everyone who is wounded is in hospitals now. We have a great request to mass media to use in their information only the data that are official and that we announce. Please do not go for provocations and do not spread the rumors that are being spread by information structures of terrorist organizations.
Don't forget to introduce yourself when you're asking questions. I would like to ask about the recorders of the aircraft. One of them, there is information that one of them is in the hands of the representatives of the so-called DNR, and they are planning to send it to Moscow. There's information that the special service found the second recorder. Where are they? Can you tell us, and who will be examining them? Talking about this so-called black boxes, we don't have any official information about where they are. All the information which is disseminated by the information sources of terrorist organizations is to be verified. We do not have 100% sure information where they are. Unfortunately, we cannot hear. In order to do the detailed investigation, for that the special commission is set up, and this will be the mandate of that commission. Liga. today, Mr. Gerashenko, the advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, said that the system book from which the Boeing was downed was transported to the territory of Russian Federation. Why this was not prevented, why book was not destroyed as soon as it was brought on the territory of Ukraine? Thank you for the question. I've mentioned that the circle around terrorists yesterday was closed thanks to the successful actions of Ukrainian army, and the issue of taking any equipment to the territory of Russian Federation is under the control of Ukrainian armed forces. The exact information again about the possibility to take it out or not, we don't have this information. Could you please show on the map what is meant by the closed circle? Is that this whole dark area where the terrorists are, or is it some part where they are dislocated, or all of them are inside this circle? Can you show that on the map? I would like to emphasize that during the anti-terrorist operation, thanks to the successful actions of Ukrainian army, we managed to reduce the size of the territory which is under the control of terrorists twice. So basically the situation now is near Lugansk, there is this circle closed so that the terrorists cannot get any weapons and assistance from outside. But there are still some areas where the warfare is going on, and there is just the military operation going there. We cannot say that we control the whole border 100%. This will be a lie, and we say what it is. Do we understand it correctly that the tactic of terrorists and Russians is the following? The terrorists are shooting at Russian territory. In reply to that, the Russians are shooting from Grads at the dislocation of our troops, which are at quite close distance from terrorists. Thank you for the questions. We have a lot of information and facts that the terrorists are shooting not just at the anti-terrorist forces, but also the residential areas, including the territory of Russian Federation. They provoke Russian armed forces to shoot back, to fire back, but to fire back at the forces of anti-terrorist organization. Euronews here. There was information in mass media that 121 bodies of people who perished during the crash were discovered. Where from does this information come? Is this information confirmed by Ukraine? And the Prime Minister also stated that the combatants did not allow Ukrainian delegation, together with representatives of OSCE, to get close to the place where the aircraft crashed. Can you explain the situation? Unfortunately, the whole tragedy happened above the territory, which is temporarily is under the control of the bands, and the combatants pay a lot of attention to this area where the remnants of the aircraft Boeing 777 are, and they do everything in order to so that the investigation is not objective. They are hampering that, and if there are such examples, we will verify that and we will provide answers. We are not ready to say how many bodies were discovered. But is that true that Ukrainian Ministry of Emergencies is there? Basically, this is the territory which is not under our control. But we do hope that soon everything will be under the control of Ukrainian authorities with the assistance of Ukrainian army. So you cannot confirm that there is the representatives of Ukrainian Ministry of Emergency. Of course, people can put on any uniform. national radio. Could you please tell, to develop the previous question, how can we talk about the guarantees of security for those who will be conducting investigation? What is the role of ICAO there, and those people who will be in the International Commission there, will they be secure? This place is on the territory which is temporarily under the control of the combatants, militants. We will need the knowledge of the experts of ICAO to identify, to do some analysis of the situation. So if they have the chance to get there, they will do that professionally, and we hope this will be done. Thank you. One more question, the last one.
Post. I wanted to ask for, again, more details. So to confirm, you're saying that Ukrainian authorities are not on the scene right now of the crash. Could you give more details about that? And could you also explain to us where the bodies of the victims currently are and where the plans are to be taken? Have you reached an agreement with the rebels about where the bodies are going to be taken? Thank you.
Thank you for questions.
Until this territory is under the temporary control of the terrorists, we cannot talk about any final result of the investigation or the beginning of the investigation. We cannot do that. We, Ukrainian authorities, are doing everything so that the international experts are, the members of the Special Commission are allowed to enter this area. This commission, which is set up at the instruction of the President of Ukraine, everything is done so that the investigation is maximum open. А місце знаходження?
У нас нема зараз.
We don't have information about that, about location of the bodies. Thank you. The time is over. Thank you. The next speaker will be here at 1 o'clock.